On Things, a podcast where we talk about pop culture, reality TV, and a bunch of other things that smart women care about. I am your host, Saran Kaba. How do you diddly do? Welcome, 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 welcome to Illyria. The real ones know. I wanted to start the podcast like that almost every week, but I've held back and I needed to let it out. I watched that movie, She's the Man, quarterly. I think it cracks me up. I remember seeing it in the theaters with my mother and like my best friend. Channing Tatum was in it. That was his first real heart-throbby role post Step Up. What? And also it's a tragedy given Amanda Bynes' whole situation. She really is a comedic genius. She was the comedic genius of our generation. The Amanda Show, what a star. What a fucking star. How sad. What a strange start to the show. Anyhoozle, how do you guys do? I am doing well. My father is on the mend, guys. That is exciting. So I'm in high spirits today. My main character things tidbit for today is actually about my parents. I don't know where this man got the energy, but as I was leaving the hospital the other day, my mom was there and I was talking to them about a trip I had planned, and they asked me what I was going to do with the dog. And I told them, oh, my dog is going to be with my ex. As you guys know, I have an ex. I was with him for 8 years. We broke up a year ago. And I want to be very clear. The dog is in my custody. That is my dog. Okay. And he sees the dog at my leisure, right? So the first time I reached out to him post breakup was about like maybe 5 months after I was going on my first work trip, and I had to figure out what to do with Henry. And the thing is, I'm always going to do what is best for the dog. Truly, he is the wind beneath my wings. He's the glue holding this operation together. My sanity rests on his brittle little shoulders. All right. So I must make sure he's okay. And the thing is, when he's with his father, I know that he is okay. There's no kind of custody arrangement, like I said. He sees him when I have to go out of town, or he reaches out to me and he says, hey, can I spend like the weekend or take the dog out to the country or whatever? And I say, of course, because that is his father. And I know in my soul that he's never going to be safer with anybody else because nobody loves him. Second to me, nobody loves him as much as his dad, my ex. So it brings me true peace and like calm, and I don't have to worry when I know that Henry is with him. So as I told my mom that, I don't know how my dad got the energy, but he just popped up and he was like, what do you mean? Why are you still seeing him? You need a clean break. Just this long ass lecture about how it's not the proper thing to do when a chapter is closed. It's closed. How do you expect to move on if you're still seeing him or you still have this connection? And my mom like basically accused me of wanting to keep him in my orbit, and like I was using the dog to do. And I actually had to pause and reflect on that. Because am I using Henry as an excuse to keep my ex in my world because I'm like not over him? I don't think so. I really do not think so. I think I'm preoccupied with my dog, and I'm always going to do what's in the dog's best interest. And also, we broke up. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't because one of us did something to harm one another. For all intents and purposes, it was a very amicable breakup. It was heartbreak for both of us, like devastation, but no ill will, or no one felt as if someone had harmed the other. Certainly not. It was respectful in every way it could have been, just like our relationship was. And I don't know. I think that a lot of people in my life are a little confused by my lack of anger about how our relationship ended. He broke up with me. We were engaged to be married. He ended things 3 months before our wedding in 2022. And then we stayed together for 2 more years afterwards. And then he himself said, I don't think this is going to happen. And it is what it is. Like, I cannot be upset at someone for simply not wanting to be with me. He was good to me for the entirety of our relationship, and he was as honest as I think he could possibly be. He'd never cheated, none of that stuff, and he never lied to me. Like, he's a man of integrity. It's just, if it wasn't going to work, it just wasn't going to work. And I think that my parents have a lot of resentment built up because obviously, face value, it looks tough, but I have to say I was like a very willing participant in every step of this relationship. And I stayed with him for 2 extra years because I wasn't ready. Like, I simply was not ready to not be with him anymore. So I think that, was it the right call that we broke up? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think that the direction that my life would have headed in, I don't think I would have accomplished everything that I need to accomplish in my life. And I truly feel that, like, in my soul, in my heart, in my gut. And honestly, I've never been happier than right now. I've never felt more peace than I do right now. I've never felt more like fulfilled in my work. I feel calm. I feel like I'm on the right track, and I my life is moving in the direction that I want it to be. And I do understand that if we stayed together, I would still be in this kind of limbo, uncertain. And so I think it was a gift that he gave me, this breakup. But it's hard to explain that to my parents. And every time I see him, my mom and my dad are like, hello, everyone sends their love, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, same. But no, it's definitely not the case. I know he's never going to listen to this, but I know this would hurt his feelings. But yeah, they're not thrilled. And I think in talking this out right now, I've realized that this is never going to change. Henry will always see him for as long as he wants to see Henry. And in fact, I would be insulted if he didn't want to see Henry. Henry is literally the most delightful creature to ever exist. I would imagine his life is hollow and somewhat meaningless without him. And if it's not, then the monster. Anywho, so yeah, that's what I've been noodling over this past week, the state of just reflecting on this past year and how I fared and how I feel after being alone for the first time in my life for a solid calendar year. And I feel good, guys. I feel good. It actually feels nice to be able to check in with him every now and then because, like I said, I do want good things for him. And it's just so great to have someone that I can leave the love of my life with, Henry, and not have to worry. So, yes. Okay. All right. Now, Henry will continue to see his father. Thank you for that. All right. Moving on to our next segment, things that pop, our pop culture segment, where we're talking about what's going on in media this week. Ha! On to our second segment, things that pop. We're starting off with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I know you guys are probably thinking, how could there be more to discuss given the detail we went through last week? But there is. In fact, it is Zach, the White Walker himself, appeared in my comment section this week after I posted a clip from the podcast saying that I believed Jen when she told Demi and Jesse the first time around that Zach had gambled away money his parents gave him for medical school, right? This is something they discussed on television. He comes into my Instagram and says, will you freaking stop already? My dad paid for my tuition and he's a cardiac surgeon and has saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in a 529 savings account for his kids' school. Stop your stupid shit for clicks and views. We are real humans. To humor you, would you like me to post my receipt paying for school? Or would you like me to show my submission for a leave of absence? I left to be there for my kids and fight for my marriage. So seriously, stop. It's annoying. Okay, Zach, first of all, never tell me what to do. Never, ever tell me what to do. That doesn't generally work out in people's favor. And also, sir, what the fuck are you talking about? You are on a reality television show. You're saying I'm talking about you on my podcast for listeners, for clicks, for views? Duh, Zach. That is not revelatory. No one is hiding the ball here. This is entertainment media. This is a podcast where we talk about pop culture. Your wife is on a reality television show where she showcases her life as an influencer in a misogynistic, fucking repressed culture, married to a child of the corn. All right. It is of the utmost importance for the success of this show that people talk about it. that people, are giving their theories, giving their opinions. And you don't want people to not talk about the show. You don't want people to not talk about you. You only want people to say good things. And I'm sorry, sir, that's just never going to happen unless you get an exorcism or a non religious therapist. This is going to be your relationship with the public. You have the type of personality and character that does not read well. And obviously, you're not media trained, which is part of the beauty with reality television shows. I think that's why people really enjoy Secret Lives of Mormon Wives so much. Like, these women don't know what's going on. They're saying whatever the fuck comes to their mind. It's raw, it's real, it's messy. And what they're showcasing are their real lives with their real human husbands, AKA you, behaving like real humans. And the public's absorbs that, comes to their own conclusions, and if you're lucky, they talk about it on their podcasts. I don't know, Zach. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's very weird that you are arguing with me. I told you to take it up with your wife, Jen. She's the one who said it first. And you had the audacity to say, no, she didn't. Sir, it's on television. You can't gaslight me. I'm not your wife. You can't trick me. We saw Demi and Jesse look at Jen and say, you told me that Zach, your husband, the child of the corn sitting right next to you, gambled away the money that his parents gave him for school. And what did she do? She looked over at you and said, do you want to tell them? Did you watch the show? And I'm not saying that you could be telling the truth. It's why it's called a theory. He said, and you're out here spreading rumors online. No, babe, not rumors. A theory based on something that your wife said on a reality television show. I repeat, is he in everybody's comment section? Because Lord knows I am not the only person talking about the show. And I'm certainly not being the meanest about it. Or maybe my post was just like the hair that broke the camel's back. I have no idea. I do tend to be very pointed and I do not mince my words. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. But Zach, you have to buck up, Buttercup, because it is really just downhill from here. You're going to have to be able to let some shit roll off your back, Zachary. You really are. Or you're just going to have the shittiest time. And also, go to school. What are you doing? You got to go back to school. What are you planning on becoming a dad talker? I don't understand. Because you're going to get your marriage back on track and then you're going to move back to New York without your wife. Your wife doesn't want to be in New York. I don't know. I would focus on that more so than podcasters' theories online. And honestly, you're welcome for talking about you, keeping your show fucking relevant. Are you out of your mind? Get out of here. Next topic. Oh my God. Todd Chrisley has been pardoned. And okay, guys, I know it's fucked, right? I posted on my stories. I said, it feels like we're living in a dark comedy, like a dramedy, Stranger the Fiction type shit, right? When one reality TV star who happens to be the felonious president of the United States pardons another reality television star for tax evasion. You couldn't write this shit, guys. Anywho, of all like the fuck shit that the Trump administration has done and all of the psychotic pardons that they've given, this one kind of bothers me the least. And honestly, Savannah did her big one, guys. Savannah did her big one. Can you imagine how proud Todd Chrisley and his wife are of that child? She buckled down and she said, I'm getting those motherfuckers out of jail. And she did it. She secured a presidential pardon for her parents. And mind you, I know it's Trump and he hands them out like candy, but still at the end of the day, that's an impressive thing to be able to say. Oh my God. And she said something about, oh, people think that I either slept with him or gave him a lot of money. Who the fuck thinks that, Savannah? Who the fuck? Nobody thinks you fucked that man. Ew. Even I. Ew. I don't think so. I don't even want to think about it. And obviously, you didn't give him any money because you don't fucking have any. That's why your parents went to jail. They didn't pay their taxes. The government done took it all. No, we know that you made this happen strictly by being a surrogate for Donald Trump during the election, for just pounding the pavement for that man, making sure he got all the votes you could fucking muster and just kissing his ass. Kiss metaphorically, not literally. Good on you for that. Honestly, guys, he's hilarious. He's so fucking funny. I don't know what to tell you. He makes me laugh. And I never watched Chrisley Knows Best, like religiously, but I would catch like episodes or bits of episodes here and there. And of course, I would see like clips online. And he's a fucking character. He's a star. He deserves to be on national television. Oh my God, he's so funny. And also, when he did his little press conference after being released. Hilarious. He was cracking jokes up in that bitch. And he had his cellmates, his fellow the inmates cracking up. He was probably got a good hour, a tight hour together in the clink. Ugh, man. Also, didn't see this one coming. He came out and immediately started talking about how there's disparity in the treatment between like white prisoners and black prisoners, and talking about like prison reform and like the treatment of black prisoners. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that one coming at all. He seems to have really befriended and gotten to know people in that jail of different cultures, and seems to have been touched by them. And when I say touched, I've seen those comments saying he found himself a sexy black ass man in there that he is trying to get out ASAP. He found himself a black zaddy. But I like that theory too. I could definitely fucking see it. Oh my God. That man was probably, no, I'm going to say it. He was probably having the time of his life in there. The belle of the ball, I'm sure. Just, okay, let me leave that. Let me leave that alone. But anyways, am I happy that Todd Chrisley got out? No. Am I mad? No. I'm indifferent at worst. And I like look forward to his absurdity. They already have a reality television show lined up. He was pardoned like on a Monday. He was out of jail on Tuesday, and they announced their reality television show on Wednesday. Savannah must have been busy as hell, girl. Damn. Now that's a good daughter. You can say whatever you want about the Chrisleys and Savannah and the rest of them, but like she did her big one. Oh my God. I was going to say, like, she better get everything in the will. But again, there is no money. That is the problem. But I'm sure they will be quickly restacking those bills, given they've already secured their next show. And I don't know. Oh, also, back to the black thing. He has a black granddaughter/daughter. I'm sure he is a little extra sensitive to issues around race due to his baby Chloe. That's something to think about, actually. All right. Anything else about Todd Chrisley? He's gay, black boyfriend, prison reform, Savannah. Oh, no, I think that's it. All right. We're up next. Taylor Swift got her master's back. She got her master's back, $360 million, which was a fucking steal because people were saying they could have gone for like close to $1 billion. So good for her. Way to go, queen. The next Taylor's version of an album that was supposed to come out was Reputation TV. And a bunch of people have said, oh, she'd rather have spent $360 million buying back her catalog than re-record this album that was essentially like a love letter to Joe Alwyn, her almost husband. And that made me laugh. But also, as I'm thinking about it, she's had to sing those songs on tour for ages. So I'm sure she disassociates in some way from them. I do not think that she got her master's back in order to avoid re-recording Reputation because it hurt too much to sing about Joe. No. But it's a funny thought. And the day after that information came out, oh, wait, hold on. First and foremost, I know I'm an idiot. A bunch of women had posted these TikToks of their armbands from the Eras Tour lighting up. And I saw at least 5 of them, right? And there were so many posts about how, oh, like Taylor Swift's armbands are lighting up, post her getting her whatever back. And I was shaken. I said, this is one of the most touching, unique, thoughtful, like including my fans in a moment kind of thing that I've ever seen done. Having her armbands from the Eras Tour light up in the homes of her fans across the world after she got the rights to her songs back. Turns out that was a lie. Turns out that didn't happen. And many people told me in various different ways just how stupid I was for believing that and why I was stupid. And I got to say, you all have a point. The science is not sciencing, the math is not mathing. If you think about it for a good at least 30 seconds, like critically, I can see why I should have realized that would be an impossibility. But I'm sorry that I have a childlike sense of wonder and whimsy. All right. And I see the world through rose colored Swifty glasses. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say I'm a Swifty. I don't think I can hold that title. It feels a little heavy for me. I don't know the words to every single one of her songs, but I will say I am a fucking fan of Taylor Swift. And I didn't go to the Eras tour. And I'm also like, guys, I'm just not a concert person. I'm not a crowded anywhere person. I don't like to be in a crowded place. I don't like to feel trapped anywhere. I don't like to be around the masses. I don't know what to tell you. And it's so fucking weird because this wasn't me growing up. I actually, if you're from Washington, D.C., you'll know the 930 Club, right? A historical venue. I worked there for a couple of years. I actually did an internship in their marketing department when I was in college. And then I went on to work at their like concessions at Food for a couple of years while I was in school during the summers and whatnot. I loved it. I would go to shows all the time, not only like when I was working, free shows was a huge perk. It was just a huge part of my life, live music, actually. And as I've gotten older, it just gives me more anxiety than anything else. And if I'm at a show, I feel like it's a huge stadium show. It just doesn't feel worth it for me unless I'm like up close. And if I'm up close, that means I'm really in it. So I leave the tickets to someone who's less fucking weird and who will enjoy it properly, is how I feel at this point in time. I was tempted to go to the Cowboy Carter tour, but unless I'm in a box, I don't wanna go. Call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I'm at this point in my life, I'm just focused on being comfortable and only doing the things that I wanna do, and being cramped at a show is no longer it. I'm sorry. I'm in a different season of my life. How did we get here? All right, Taylor Swift, Eras Tour, armbands lighting up. That was a lie. I was bamboozled. I understand that was stupid. All right, I get it. You don't have to rub it in. Also, after she announced that she had purchased her masters, she went out to dinner with Selena Gomez. And I just love seeing those fucking two together. They have it feels like such a like a serious friendship between two decent people. And I have always thought, I don't even know if okay, Blake Lively, right? I've never seen Blake Lively and Selena Gomez together hanging out with Taylor Swift, I don't think. And the more I think about them interacting, like Selena is careful with her words, right? She's thoughtful when she speaks slowly, she speaks clearly. It's never a word salad with Selena Gomez. Some people say she might speak a little too slowly, but I think she's a thoughtful, intelligent queen who has been through a lot in her life and carries herself as such. And so I could see her having a conversation with Blake word salad, vapid, nonsense, lively, and just like almost blinding herself with how much she's resisting rolling her eyes. I just can't see them conversing. I don't think they'd have anything in common. I think that Selena probably looks down at Blake. This is what my gut is telling me. And Selena probably is able to read sincerity versus insincerity and thirst versus a wanting of an actual friendship. And I was listening to the Taylor Striker show this morning, actually, and they were talking about this exact same thing. And they mentioned that somewhere it was written that Selena thought it was weird that Blake befriended Taylor so aggressively and then immediately made her the godmother of her children. She thought that was a little odd. And obviously this has not been confirmed or anything, but it helps support these baseless feelings that I have about that friendship or that friendship group. Do you remember the Deadpool versus Wolverine premiere where Blake Lively was wearing that red jumpsuit and she was there with Gigi Hadid? They both looked absurd, like heinous, horrible outfits, horrible. And they were like holding hands and whatever. Like, I honestly don't know what she would have in common with. I don't know what anyone could have to talk to Blake Lively about. She is fluff and cotton candy but like darkness too. I don't know. Okay. Enough rambling. Next, Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. So Sydney Sweeney has partnered with what is it called again? What is the name? I don't know. I don't know what the brand is, but it's a men's like cosmetic, hygienic, whatever brand. And she's making a soap called Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. And it has her actual bathwater incorporated into it in some way. And I just have to say, I think this is a bad idea. I think that Sydney Sweeney is hot, sexy, gorgeous. Love that she's single now. I think it's actually psychotic that she ever got engaged at this stage in her career. Like, in fact, I think it's a red flag that he proposed to her now, like a year ago when her star was clearly skyrocketing. Wanted to lock that down, but like I just knew that relationship was going to end. I know nothing about him, but there was no way that she was going to live the entirety of her successful career in Hollywood tied down, not being able to frolic in these streets with these Hollywood men. Like, you, that would have just been a fucking travesty. So, Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Who is this? I understand this is marketed to men. This is a men's shower product. But what man would buy that and not feel pathetic? I understand the whole like, oh, she's so hot, I would drink her bathwater thing. But they're saying it and then going out of your way to purchase a product that includes it. It's a shtick that feels a little sleazy. And I don't know. I don't know. If I went back to a dude's house, I was in their bathroom and I saw that they had Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap, I would judge them. It feels tacky. It feels unnecessary. Also feels unhygienic. If it's her actual bathwater, did they go through some kind of sanitization process? I don't know. Something about that seems strange. But like, uh, she's leaning into the sexy of it all. And I don't think she should lean away from it. I think that oftentimes feels like forced and it's boring, but I don't know if I would go too hard in this direction. What a weird product. And do men buy like branded things like this? Aren't they just getting like an Irish Spring or a Dove? Where would they find this product? And why would they reach for that in the soap aisle over an Irish Spring? I don't know. I literally can't. And not to be sexist, but I don't know. I would imagine like in homes when there's a couple, a male female couple, the woman is probably purchasing a lot of the like soaps and whatnot. And what woman is purchasing that for her man? It just doesn't, I don't understand the audience. It feels tacky and I don't enjoy it. So good luck, Godspeed, and ew. Okay, this story receives an honorable mention. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but Patti Lupone apologizes for interview comments about Keisha Lewis and Audra McDonald. I'm devastated. If you didn't know, Broadway star, like an icon, I guess some people call her, Patti Lupone, said some weird shit about Keisha Lewis and Audra McDonald, Broadway stars themselves who happen to be Black. Patti, you can tell that not enough people in her life have ever told her to shut the fuck up. You can tell. And I don't know how one gets to this point where they have drank so much of their own Kool-Aid that it's just like pouring out of them. But I find her insufferable. I don't believe that her apology is sincere. This apology comes on the heels of an open letter from the Broadway community condemning Patti LuPone's like racist rhetoric. Broadway is a place where we uplift each other, whatever. And Patti LuPone has never apologized before, and which isn't cute. Okay, I'm never gonna apologize for what I say. That's an insane take to me. That's insane because I know I'm capable of being wrong. To say that you're never going to apologize, it's admitting that first of all, you're not open to change. You don't evolve. You lack an understanding of like nuance. You see it it's not good. That or you do change and you don't want to address it because of your ego. Either way, it doesn't say great things about you. Anyways, I guess she gave her first apology in her entirety of her life and her career. So bravo for that fucking, I don't know, delayed growth. How old is she? 60? Anyhoozle. If she hadn't received that letter, 500 people in the Broadway community, like notable people, I don't think she would have given this apology. It didn't come from her heart. It wasn't like she knows she did something wrong. No, this is just like the most blowback she's ever received in her life. Therefore, she's devastated. I don't buy it for a fucking second. So you can take that apology and shove it right up your ass, Patti. All right. Toodaloo. Oh, wait. Courtney Love signed this open letter? What? That is so crazy to me. Courtney Love signed an open letter condemning Patti LuPone's racism. Courtney Love had a concert where she told her audience, scream the N-word. And I'm going to count to 3 and we're all just going to scream the N-word. And she signed the letter? She signed the open letter to Patti LuPone? Courtney Love? Who allowed that? Not enough people talk about that moment, by the way. I guess she's not exactly part of the zeitgeist, Courtney Love. She hasn't been relevant ever, really. And all I've known her to be is like a drunk, slurry, messy slob kebab with smeared, smudged eyeliner and like patchy lipstick and a bad bleach job. Yeah, that is literally all I know of her. And I'm trying to think, is there literally anything else? Do I know anything good about Courtney Love? No, I should not have included her in this. It's such a weird thing to do. Okay, so reality TV things. The Valley, nothing very notable happened other than the fact that we saw Sheena and Lala for the first time. And men, when I tell you, the every scene, every moment of that party, you could see Sheena lurking in the background. She made sure she was in every fucking shot. And then this conversation that Lala had with Jesse was so weird and forced. And they just jammed her in there, like no lube, no explanation. I thought they would find a way to weave her into the storyline, that she'd have some kind of purpose. No, but I swear to God, a producer said, here's your mic, start a fight with Jesse. And make sure you include that Michelle is your friend. Say that Michelle is your friend and start a fight with Jesse. And you can tell as the fight was happening, Jesse seemed amused. He knew what was going on, like we all did. And that's the problem with Lala. It was a problem with Lala on Vanderpump Rules. It is drama, but it is produced insincere drama. She doesn't fit the vibe. Also, I don't believe that her and Michelle are friends. What the fuck would Pop Lala and The Pursuit of Sassiness Michelle? That's the name of her podcast, guys. The Pursuit of Sassiness. And I'm sorry, I know podcasters, women, uplifting women, blah, blah. She freaks me out as a person in general. You're not going to hear me uplifting Michelle. That is the worst podcast name I've ever heard in my life. The Pursuit of Sassiness, guys. Is that even chuggy? What's beyond chuggy? The horror. You might as well have named it Live, Laugh, Love. Oh my God. Anywhoozle. Yeah, no, I don't think that Lala and Michelle are actually friends. I don't understand why Bravo thinks that they have to be on the show. The show is so good without them. It is dark enough. It is crazy enough. The first season was so good. People were waiting, chomping at the bit for season number 2. What the fuck is cramming Sheena and Lala in there going to do for it? How is it going to improve it in any way? And I'll take Sheena over Lala, and that sounds crazy. I bet you never thought you'd hear me say that. If you had told me like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I would say, give me Sheena and stay away Lala, I wouldn't have believed you. But alas, at least Sheena's desperation it's organic. She like it it feels right from her. Lala, she's infuriating. She's infuriating. Her vulnerability is insincere. Everything about her is just fake, phony, weird. I don't like it. Get her off of my television. I wonder though. And I hope that she's able to always provide for her family and that she's not financially struggling or anything. I hope she does it far away from my television screen, but I hope she's always, of course, fine. She has babies to take care of and whatnot. But I do wonder how she is doing because she purchased almost like $5 million worth of property the year that Vanderpump Rules ended. And Give Them Lala Beauty is not a financial success. And obviously, she's not going to get another book deal. Her first one flopped. So I don't really know what she's actually going to be able to do if she doesn't do the show. But that's her problem. Does she have fans? Who listens to her podcast? I listened to a few episodes back when her assistant Jess was on, and I cannot wait to get that tea. I know it's coming someday. You guys know Jess. You saw her be hired on a couple seasons of Vanderpump Rules when Lala was still with Randall. And she was with Lala. She got her through that breakup. And they parted ways in a very messy way. And Lala started saying, oh, she wanted to use me. Bullshit. Bullshit, Lala. I highly doubt Jess was trying to use you for clout. What clout, Lala? What clout? Oh, the delusion is insane. And Summer House Reunion Part 1, nothing really happened. My biggest takeaway is, why was Gabby there for the whole thing? She literally didn't say anything. And I made a couple of videos about this on TikTok, and I don't want it to read as I don't like Gabby. I think that Gabby is like a talented human. I think she has a good head on her shoulders as a person. I think she's funny, her facial expressions, her fashions, and whatever. Great. She has a great career as a director of a fashion brand or magazine or something. She has a real job. She has a real life. And I know that she'll be fine and successful in whatever she does. I just don't think that reality TV is her bread and butter. I don't think that, not that she's messy enough, but I don't think she's vulnerable enough and she doesn't involve herself enough. And I think she's very comfortable being, a friend of the supporting character. And that's not conducive to the way that Summer House is shot. There are no friends of on the show. They need to be like 8 individual messy main characters and throw them together, see what the fuck happens. And she is just orbiting on the outskirts of things. And I don't even think, even if she left the show and this was her last season, which I actually think it's probably going to be, I don't think she'd come back every couple of weeks or for a weekend or two. Danielle did. I don't even think her relationship with the people in the house are that strong. So I think we gave it the old college try. It didn't work. Let's just call it a day. It's fine. And like I said, she will be successful no matter what she does. Like, she is a smart girl. She's talented. She's beautiful. Good head on her shoulders. I'm sure she'll be working in fashion forever. So, whatever. And maybe this isn't the reality show for her, right? Maybe there's another format that might work. But I don't know. I just think it's time to go. Imrul was on part 1, and he came in halfway through. He spoke for 5 minutes. Still more airtime than what Gabby got. And speaking of Imrul, I'm endeared to him, right? I don't think we got the most accurate depiction of him. I think we should stop calling him Orgy Monster or Orgy the originator. I see why the show was edited to emphasize that. And obviously, he came in and he led with that. And that was probably a mistake. But I don't know. If he only brought home a girl 4 weekends out of the entire summer, I don't understand. Were they supposed to be chaste queens? Was he not supposed to bang? He seems just a sex positive queen to me. And I don't think he got a fair shake. And I think that they should bring him back next season. I wanna see a little bit more of him. I still wanna know why he was edited out of that dinner. That is the most unnecessary thing. I think about that shit all the time. Yeah. So Emerald was there. Sierra cried. Kyle cried when Sierra cried. That man stays crying when Sierra cries. It is the craziest thing. Amanda was like, "I don't actually think you've ever cried when I've cried before." And I believe it. He has a real soft spot for that girlie. And not in a creepy way, which is impressive given what Sierra looks like. So good good for you, Kai. Anything else from that? We had just gotten into the part where Sierra is telling Lexi, "You're trifling for going on this press tour and trying to make it seem like I was going out of my way to be sneaky with Jesse." Like I said, on so many podcasts myself, so many episodes, I've said she knew Lexi for 4 days prior to that weekend where Jesse was flirting with her so aggressively. There's no girl code there. She didn't know that bitch, she was a stranger. And Lexi to be like, "No, I had a problem with Jesse." No, we literally heard you on this press tour talking about how Jesse and Sierra skipped your birthday to hang out together on purpose, like, to being shady. You brought that up on a podcast to knowing what it would sound like to make her sound bad. So I don't ever see her having a friendship with Sierra, honestly. And I know Sierra literally tried to shiv Danielle with a broken wine glass, and they're somehow okay. But I think it's going to take a lot more time for Sierra to ever have her guard down around Lexi. Because Lexi is confusing. You don't know what she's thinking. She'll behave one way to your face and she'll actually feel something differently about you. And when people are like that, I personally tend to no longer value them or their opinion. Because what does it matter? I never know what you're actually feeling. I don't know if you're telling the truth. I don't know if you're lying. I don't know if you like me. I don't know if you don't like me. I don't know if you're trying to get something from me or information. I don't know. So she's just the kind of person that I would shy away from. She's just not real. And you can see with Amanda and Sierra, straight to the point, honest, don't mince their words, not liars, not male centered. And that's very different from Lexi. And like, people keep saying Amanda Page and Sierra are mean girls, except no one can explain what they mean by that. They won't be fucked with. They're straight to the point. There is no pretense there. And they like know their worth. They're never cruel. They never go out of their way to exclude anyone. Paige gave Lexi such incredible advice this season. She straight up was like, "You guys have known each other for a month and a half and it's been so messy. You gotta not do this." And that's some real shit. And when those women were giving her advice, they meant it from their soul. The girls who think that Paige, Sierra, and Amanda's Amanda doesn't even know what's going on half of the time. Anyways, I'm looking forward to part 2. That will be tomorrow. I will see Sierra lighting. I look forward to seeing Sierra light up little Alexi. I think that should be entertaining, and I don't think that Lexi will be able to handle it. We shall see. Okay. And now for Hot Girl Things, a segment where we talk about politics, policy, and global news. Because Hot Girls, we stay informed and we clock environmental racism when we see it, even if it's wearing a Patagonia vest and talking about AI. So let's talk about Memphis, Tennessee. Specifically, the fact that one of the country's largest new AI supercomputing campuses is being built in a predominantly Black neighborhood, South Memphis. And they're trying to sell it to us like it's some kind of tech renaissance, a jobs boom, progress, whatever. But here's what's actually happening: a heat belching, energy devouring, water guzzling data facility is being dropped on a community that's already bears the scars of generational environmental abuse. And they're calling it innovation. All right. So let me tell you what they're not putting in the press release. This facility is about to sit right above the Memphis Sand Aquifer, one of the most pristine underground water resources in the country. The aquifer supplies clean drinking water to over 1 million people, and these supercomputers, they need millions of gallons of water per day just to stay cool. So, while Silicon Valley's finest are busy building their synthetic god machine, they're literally pumping up groundwater that belongs to the people of Memphis. Not recycling, not conserving, not asking, just fucking taking. And here's the kicker: Black Memphians or whatever they're called, they've been fighting to protect the aquifer for years. They pushed back against pipelines, they've held town halls, they've sounded every single alarm, and now a multi-billion-dollar data campus shows up with zero community input, planning to extract from the aquifer daily, while residents still get boil notices and brown water from 80-year-old pipes. So let's call it what it is: it's resource colonization with a login screen. They say it's going to create jobs. Cute, right? But let's ask, are we talking engineer jobs or janitor jobs? Is South Memphis about to become a new tech hub, or just like a sacrifice zone with fiber optic cables? And it's not just the water. These facilities also contribute to air pollution, noise pollution, light pollution, and can elevate electromagnetic fields, which researchers are still studying for long term health effects. So now this already overburdened community has to carry the invisible, cumulative weight of a facility that's allegedly making the world smarter. Smarter for who? All right, let's be honest. If this facility were going up in Brentwood or Chevy Chase, there would be public hearings, environmental lawsuits, and probably, I don't know, a wellness influencer chaining herself to a redwood. But in South Memphis, it's radio silence. It's sealed deals. It's people who look like me being told to take one for the future. So, yeah, this week, it's giving AI colonialism and blackface. And we're not falling for it because hot girls, we read zoning maps. Hot girls protect aquifers. And hot girls know when a $2 billion server farm is really just an extraction site in disguise. And that's it for this week's Hot Girl Things. And we'll close out this week's episode with our segment, Questionable Things, where you guys submit your questions and I try to answer them as accurately, honestly, and not insanely as possible. This one made me laugh. It's from Chrissy May. Are low rise jeans coming back organically or big denim behind this? Okay, so everything is a choice. Listen, you do not have to be a slave to trends. If something comes back, you don't have to adapt it into your life. Okay, that's first and foremost. But do I think they're coming back organically? Yes. Yes, I do. I do not think it's big denim. I think it's Gen Z. I think it's another annoying thing that Gen Z is doing. Also, you want to know why I know that this is happening organically? Because someone in my comments the other day said, whale tails. They're starting to see them again. And my guys, that shall be my 13th reason if I'm seeing people walk around the city with their thongs hanging out like a fashion statement. Not to sound like a grandma, but I thought it was tacky as hell when I was in middle school. As an adult? Oh, absolutely not. Whale tails. It's not retro. It's not chic. It's not fun. But to be fair, naked is actually in now. Zoe Saldana had her ass out at the Grammys. Whose vagina did we basically see? I'm pretty sure we saw vag this award season somewhere on some red carpets. If that's okay, then why not a whale tail? Listen, it's complicated. But fashion is cyclical. People get bored and they start looking to history for ways to zhuzh up their wardrobe. And oftentimes it's exciting and good, and sometimes it's disgusting and horrible. And I think that everything from the 2000s is where fashion went to die. It is easily the absolute worst decade in fashion history. Everything was too tight, everything was too low, everything was overly glittered, bedazzled. There were too many rhinestones everywhere. There was too much glitter. Tacky. Just so tacky. It was very bad. So I don't understand what there is to go back to. That I really truly thought, as someone who understood that fashion is cyclical, that the 2000s would be a time we skipped over. I had no expectation of coming back here because I know that there was nothing good. There was nothing good. A low rise and a whale tail? A graphic tee from American Eagle? Maybe a layered polo? Oh God, none of it. Keep it. Keep that shit in the past. Keep that shit. Any other decade. I don't care. The 2000s, disaster. The tackiest shit I've ever seen. I took my style very seriously, actually, when I was in high school growing up in the 2000s. I had the feeling, I felt as if fashion was tacky in real time. Everyone just looked dirty. The look was, I spent the entire night raging at Ledoux. Came home at 4 in the morning, fell asleep in my night out clothes, and I'm still wearing them today. Why was everything so tight and ill-fitting? And the layers. I listen, and it's not like a fun Miu Miu, like preppy, like chic layering, but crazy fucking peasant tops, peasant dresses over jeans with a bedazzled boot and maybe a tie? Why do we want to go back to that? Oh my God. Sorry. It really offends me. But Gen Z will Gen Z. This hasn't been the first time that they've disappointed me, and it shan't be the last. Our little burgeoning boomers. I had so much hope too, guys. Today, on that note, I've had such a lovely time chatting with you guys today. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't already on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to your podcast. Please leave a review if you can. Type out something very lovely. Say I'm hilarious, perfect, stunning, gorgeousness. That would be good, especially in Spotify. Someone gave me a low rating, so we got to fucking fix that. Other than that, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Toodaloo.